Hi, welcome once again to another week's edition of Ask Chuck webcast. In this particular instance, it's been 5 weeks since I've been with you in this form. Been back in Iowa, traveling Iowa. Been in 25 new counties so far this year. That makes my total counties visited so far up to about 85 or 86. I'll continue until I get done this year holding a town meeting in every county every year since I've been in the Senate. Also, we welcome your questions and thank you very much for the ones that are sent in today, and so I'll start answering questions. Rob from Coralville emails, quote, "What are your thoughts about the tax cuts about to expire?" I think the best way to answer your question is to tell you what I told the President back in December when I was invited down to the White House to talk about the economy and jobs. When the President got around to asking me my views, I said to him, "You need to repeat what you said exactly 1 year ago now." So 1 year ago then would have been December, January of 2008 or 2009, just before he sworn in as president. The President said, I ran on a platform of increasing taxes, but we're in a recession and we shouldn't increase taxes. I said to the President, we're still in a recession, you shouldn't increase taxes. Now, 8 or 9 months later, we're still in a recession. The rule of thumb is you shouldn't increase taxes during a recession because it's going to hurt the opportunity recovering sooner. So I would like to see existing tax law extended at least through this recession, but my goal is to make existing tax law permanent. In addition to not increasing taxes during a recession, there's a lot of other things that are in this tax law of 2001, which sunsets at the end of this year, and if we don't do something, it'll be the biggest tax increase in the history of the country. And beyond having the biggest tax increase in the history of the country, first of all, it would create a miserable situation for small business where 70% of the new jobs are created operating on cash flow. If we raise the tax on small business, and don't forget half the tax on incomes of over $200,000 comes from small business, it's not going to help with employment or getting the unemployment down. If you tax something, you get less of it. So why would you want to tax employment during a time of high unemployment? Also, if we don't intervene and stop the biggest tax increase in the history of the country from happening, we'll reinstitute the marriage penalty. We'll take $500 away from the credit for child care. We'll take away the refundability of the child care. We would do away with the 10% tax bracket so that low-income people would start paying at 15% instead of 10%. Deduction for college tuition would go. The changes that we made to enhance the deductibility of interest on student loans would go away. And also what we have done in a lot of other areas as well. So this is something that we need to be very cautious about. A lot of reforms that were made in the tax code to help middle class and low income people will really end up hurting those middle class and low income people if we don't intervene and stop this biggest tax increase in the history of the country. The second question comes from Facebook. Chris from Grimes writes, "As your constituent and a small business owner, I'm asking for your support of Amendment 4596 to the Small Business Jobs Bill, repealing Form 1099 tax reporting requirements." This is a very irresponsible act on the part of the majority party in the health care reform bill, supposedly to bring in more revenue. and it does bring in some revenue. But it's a very burdensome record-keeping problem for small business, and I believe it will be repealed. I believe there's votes in the House of Representatives to repeal it, and I would surely vote to repeal it in the United States Senate. So I agree with you. Thank you, Bob and Chris, for your questions. Now I would wish you all well as I give a final report, and that is on the work of the Senate this week. We will be on the small business lending bill that is before the United States Senate. Thank you all, and I'll see you next week on another Ask Chuck webcast.